welcome back to another video. In today's video, we have a special video. I'm gonna talk about fish keeping. This will be a fish keeping tutorial video, although if you want more information on individual topics, later in the future I will be making videos talking about more specific topics, but this will be just a tutorial video in general. Let's get started. Okay, first we have tanks. Especially when you're just starting out or just thinking about keeping fish. First, you're gonna have to pick the right tank. As you can see, on my left side we have good, and then on the right side we have bad. So, tanks that are good include tanks in any size, although too small of a tank is definitely not good, like these tiny tanks, or these Lego-like fish tanks, or plastic food boxes, and these fancy fish tank hanger types or fish bowls are not good for fish at all. However, normal fish tanks with or without lid will work. Just keep in mind that it has to be big enough even though you're getting small fish, because the more water amount you have, the more oxygen in the water there will be. So tiny tanks wouldn't do much, even though with one or a very small fish. And also, if you live in a hot or humid country, especially if you keep your fish indoors or outdoors, try to get tanks that have netting on the lid or a mesh lid on the top, or it can still be tanks like these ones, although you have to make sure they have good ventilation on the lid and not just all closed up like in this photo. For example, some of my fish tanks, they have lids like this, but they do have holes and still have netting sections, so those will work. Or if you want a cheap alternative solution and you don't want to buy a tank, but you want to start keeping fish, well, another good option is these plastic tubs or boxes, especially the boxes you use when, for example, moving house or moving many items. These boxes will do. But just make sure that the material is safe and it won't break or crack or leak any substance into the water. Although when you have these, you don't have any lid or anything else with it, and most of them are not clear. So if you want something like this, don't get a clear one if you want it like a tank. Just get a fish tank if you want a clear one. But if you want a tub, for example, to watch from a top view, then these will work as well. Just keep in mind you have to do a lot of DIY, like adding your own lid or figuring out a way how to install pumps and filters. And speaking about pump and filters, we'll get to those topics as we go on. Next, we have substrate. Again, we have good and bad. With good ones, there are many good options to choose. Sand, pebbles, gravels, rocks, and aqua soil would also work. If you don't know what aqua soil is, it's pretty much soil, but instead of for plants on land, these are for plants in water. Although aqua soil is mostly used with live plants, so if you're not getting live plants or live decorations, then you wouldn't really need aqua soil because it's also expensive. Good options would be pebbles or gravels. These are cheap to find. Sand is also good, although Although it can create lots of dust in the water and it will cause a little dustiness, blurriness in the water, rocks are good, but they're more like a decoration than substrate, but they still work. However, bad stuff is any of those like rainbow rocks you see a lot of like kids like to use. I know a lot of you may think fish tank, you might think of these rainbow rocks. Believe me, it might look good to you, but the fish do not enjoy looking at these. That goes the same for these like space rocks or like these fancy rocks with glitters or anything. Those are also not good. They may contain chemicals that can cause harm to the water and the fish itself, so do not use these. Soil, some of you may think, hey, I saw somebody use soil with fish tanks. True, but most of them do not just use them as it is. They might put soil as a bottom layer and then top them off with sand or gravel or aqua soil. Dirt or soil, regular soil, gardening soil would work, although I do not recommend them for beginners, especially when you're just starting out your first tank or so. I recommend them using later on as you gain more experience, since they aren't difficult to use and they often caused blurriness, murkiness, dirtiness in water, so not good. Moving on, we have decor and decoration. First off, there's a lot of good options. You can also go with live plants, including moss or any aquatic plants, although when using aquatic plants, especially if you use aquatic plants when living in a hot country. I live in Southeast Asia and the weather is mostly hot, and when it's hot we have air conditioners, and when we have air conditioners the temperature can cause changes in the plants, and that also include the temperature that the plants require. You see a lot of plants, a lot of aquatic plants require cold temperature, but our climate is hot. But if you live in a cold climate, you might have to do more research on that. Apparently I'm not sure about aquatic plants the best, although it's not the easiest to get and to use and maintain. However, I do recommend fake plants, although when it comes to fake plants, some of them do have chemicals, and a lot of them do, but you have to make sure that they're actually animal safe. And wherever or whoever you buy them from or get it from, make sure it's actually safe. And do not go to like those pet stores or like PetSmart or something and get those fake plants. Those won't really work. Go to more like an aquarium shop or like other shops that look more professionalist, not just those local pet shops. Although you have to recheck to make sure that the fake plants are actually aquatic animal safe. Also, you can also use like sticks or any branches. Although if you use these and you submerge them, they may float at the first time, so you will have to submerge them using rocks or anything heavy to weigh them down. Give them time to lose that oxygen and floatiness in them. Although when you do that in the water with the fish, long term, the wood, especially natural wood, would have a substance called tannins, and tannins can cause sickness and disease to some fish species. So if you don't want tannins, and tannins also cause browniness or brackish water. If you know what brackish water is, tannins are one of the main sort of like ingredients to making brackish water. So if you don't want brownish water for your fish, because some may not be good with brackish water, all you have to do is take a container of water and then submerge the wood in them using anything like rocks weighing down. Give them about a day or two to soak, and then the next day repeat the process for a few times until the water they soak in is completely clear, and then wash them up with clean water and then use them in the tanks. They will sink, but they won't cause the water to be brownish. Rocks are also good decorations and decor. Although something bad is toys or any household items. Although there are a few household items that can work for decor and decorations. And I also forgot to include like those terracotta pots and terracotta fish caves. Those are also good, although you have to make sure they don't contain any harmful chemicals. Also, PVC pipes are also another cheap alternative solution to caves, especially for fish that love caves. These will sink, most of them will sink, and as long as they don't have any harmful chemicals, they will work just fine. Just put them down where you want and the fish will use them as a cave. Great options. But keep in mind, do not use any other household items, especially if you don't check whether or not those are good, especially toys. They cause rust and they cause a lot of damage to fish and the water in general, so do not use them. Now, when it comes to choosing the right fish, a lot of the good beginner-friendly fish include mollies, guppies, neon tetras, bettas, and one of my favorites of the 5, by the way, tiger barbs. Although there are many more beginner-friendly fish species out there, these are the 5 of my top favorites. And I have 4 of these 5, by the way. Although these fish that I did say bad, they're not bad. A lot of you may say they're not bad, but I'm just saying it's not beginner friendly. And those include koi fish. Even though you have an enormous tank or pond, do not get them unless you have a really large pond, like 2,000 gallon plus. Then you can go with koi fish, but do not get koi fish even though with a large tank. They'll just keep growing, they produce lots of waste. Not good. Goldfish are also not good. They're quite delicate. They may be cheap to find and easy. And a lot of beginners would think of goldfish, but do not get goldfish. Especially kids. Kids think, goldfish. Do not get them. They're not. For most beginners, they're hard, they're delicate, so do not get them. And same goes for those large fish species like catfish, funny photo by the way, and any of these like imported fish from like Amazon forest and stuff. I know like some of these fish are from those same or similar areas as well, but like a lot of these rare or like monster fish, if you know what I mean, monster fish, I'll probably make a video about fish species more specifically in the future, but a lot of the more like rare monster fish, imported fish are also not the best for beginners, especially a lot of them get big, like those big catfish, although this won't include those small freshwater catfish. The small ones are okay, those teeny tiny ones are okay, but don't get the big stuff like this big boy right here or like this red-tailed catfish. Although red-tailed catfish, one of my favorites. Kept them before, they didn't make it. Okay, moving on. Acclimation. A lot of beginners make this mistake. Acclimation. You might be thinking, What's acclimation? Well, acclimation is the first step you must always do when you first move or buy a fish or any aquatic species. You must always acclimate before putting them into a tank or container with water, really. So acclimation is pretty much giving the time to the fish to acclimate to the same temperature, water parameters of their new environment. You can do this in two ways. One, you can take the bag of fish that they came in from the pet shop or pet market and then just soak it in the water that you already have. Although I'll talk about preparing water more later in the video. So you put the bag of fish, don't open and dump them out. That's the mistake a lot of beginners do. They first got the fish, open the bag, dump it in. Weeks later, they all die because they face a problem called like water shock. So they go in, they can't adjust in time, and they're like, oh no, and then ugh. So that's the main problem a lot of beginners make. So you must always acclimate by taking the bag of fish, putting it in the tank without dumping out the fish, and let them soak like this for at least, I would say at least 20 minutes. Some say 5 to 10, but I say like 20, 25 at least is the minimum. But do not do more than like an hour or so, especially with a small bag, because the oxygen will run out. So any between 25 to 40 minutes is good. Or if you want a kind of safer solution, is to take a container like a bucket or a plastic tub or something. Take the bag, open it, and then dump the fish in there in the container, and then scoop some small amounts of the tank water that you'll later dump them into, and then slowly add small amounts of it every 5 to 10 minutes, and then let them sit in there for another for a whole 40 minutes or so, and then repeat the process. Keep adding the tank water little by little to help them adjust to the new water temperature. Next up is food. First off, there are two main types of food you can give your fish. There's the food pellets. There are many kinds, like floating kinds, like this Kingfish. This is one of my favorite brands I've used with my fish. Cheap, easy to find. Fish love them. They're small, floatable pellets. A lot of those small fish will love this. Although if you have medium to large size fish, you're gonna want something bigger. And they do have different diets as well. Some fish are more like a vegetarian type, so they'll eat more vegetable-based food. Although some other types of fish will prefer more protein-based type of food, so you'll have to do more research on that. But I will also make videos specifically on food later in the future. And then another kind is fresh or live food. Those include raw shrimp, bait fish, and if you don't know what these are bloodworms. These are pretty much ice cubes, but instead of ice, it's an ice cube that is made of bloodworms. Bloodworms are kind of like earthworms, but they're tiny, but they're not alive anymore. They're dead, but they're just frozen, and they're really easy to use. Although these three fresh food are not mostly used by beginners. For beginners, I mostly recommend the food pellets, although some specific species of fish do not prefer to eat food pellets. They prefer to eat live food, but most of them can eat pellets just fine. So if they can eat pellets, you won't need live food or fresh food. Although fresh food can also be used as a snack every now and then, but you should stick mainly to pellets, especially for fish that can eat pellets as a main course. Also, there's also many kinds, small ones, flakes, blended types, and like they also have like large to medium-sized pellets that also sink for fish like bottom feeders that they stay in the bottom, like catfish. And then location. What I mean by location is where you're gonna put your fish tank. And keep in mind, this also matters about your climate and temperature of where your country is. I currently live in Thailand, which is in Southeast Asia, and our temperature here is rather hot and warm all year round, and most people have air conditioners to keep us cool inside. However, fish do not prefer, well, most fish don't do well in air-conditioned temperature. So if you do use air conditioning, you might have to put them in a room without air conditioning, or you have to keep them outside for perhaps by a balcony. Or if there's no option to move them to another room, try picking a corner in your room, in your house, that it won't get too cold. For example, it can be next to a window. That also helps warm them up a bit. But next to a window can also cause problems, which can also be due to extreme sunlight, can also kill and harm the fish as well. But outside is the best for people who live in hot and warm climates. Although if you live in cold climates or countries that do have winter that are actually cold outside, then you're gonna want to keep your fish inside. And that also includes adding heaters or heating pads or heating systems to your tanks to make sure your fish won't get too cold. I'll talk about those more later in the video. But the location, if you cannot keep them outside but you have to keep them warm, another solution is using a blanket or a towel or a large thick cloth and covering the tank. That will also help keeping it warm and sustain its temperature. Although do not use boiling or hot water and pour them in the tank. That will immediately kill your fish. Do not do that to warm them up. So always do research more about temperature for your fish and location to put your tanks. Next up, heating and lighting. Heating and lighting. This also depends on the climate and country, just like location. For me, I live in Thailand, and since it's already warm and I keep my fish outside the house, and the temperature outside the house is just perfect for most of my fish. Not too cold, not too hot. So for me, I wouldn't really need a heating system, although for those of you who have winter and the temperature is too cold, you will have to get heating pads or tank warmers that can be installed near, under, or next to the tank to help them keep them warm. So you will need one if your country does get cold in the winter. Although if your country is mostly warm or when it's not too cold, you wouldn't really need heating or lighting either, especially if you don't really prefer having lighting. Although if you keep your fish tank in a location that you like to look at them a lot and use them as one of the viewing things to look at, make it beautiful, then you'll need lights. There are two ways, well actually more than two, but one is to get one of these light bulbs that you can attach underwater. These are submersible, although you have to make sure that it's not broken and make sure that it's safe, because these will be submerged in the water, and then they'll have a cord extended to a light switch control, and then the control plugs into an outlet. Or you can also get these on top or hangover lights that go shine from the top of your fish tanks. These are also good, although if your fish tanks have lids, these might not work because the lids are in the way. Or some fish tanks will come as a set with a lid, pump, filter, lighting system, all in all. Those are also good. Next up, necessary equipment. First, we have the good stuff here. Firstly, especially when you have large tanks or medium sized to large, you're gonna need one of these hand squeezing fish pumps. Basically, you stuff this part here, the stretchy part right here, this long straight part, into the tank, and then from the blue part on out here to here, you'll have this part extended outside of the tank, perhaps, and then you'll start squeezing with your hands here. It will cause a sucking mechanism. The water and fish poop will go through here, through the tube, and then out on the other end through here. So you're gonna need a bucket or a container or some sort to hold that nasty water coming out. Also, you're also gonna need fishing nets, or just fish net in general. But keep in mind there are two types of fish nets that you can get. One is this type, which I do not recommend. It's bad. As you can see, the material like this for a fish net is mostly meant for catching fish for like fishermen, not fish keepers, because these can do damage to fish scales and their fins may get stuck and that can harm them. Not good at all. So any nets like these are not good. But nets that are like this, they're more like a stretchy type of like thin but these type would look better. These type not just look better, but they're much safer because fish's fins or scales will not get caught and get stuck. They won't cause any harm. Although, make sure you have the right size. There are any from teeny tiny ones to enormous ones. Next up, we have filters and pumps. First off, we have one of my favorite types of filters, which is the submerged type. It's the most basic type you can find. Pretty much it's a pump, and this long part is where the biofilter media is gonna stay in there, and then it's got a hole in the bottom or holes along the side on the outside that it will suck in the water and the dirtiness, and then suck it up through the biomedia and then spray it back out as clean water. And then you have another type which is known as the hangover or back hanging, or just the hanging filter in general. These would work with tanks without lids, without any covers or lids, because they do need to be hanging on the back. They'll have some sort of pump on the bottom, which the pump and the tube will stay in the water. It would pump, push it up through the filter media and then out on another end. And then this is also another example of one that you can try making on your own. Perhaps you're on a low budget. You just need some cheap plastic boxes or plastic tubs, some sort of stretchy tube, plastic tube, and then a water pump that can be used inside fish tanks. You'll submerge that pump in the tank and then connect it to the hose or the pipe. It goes and then it dumps into the box. The box will contain its biofilter media, so it works the same as this. It goes through and then you cut holes for it to go out back in the water. Although the hanging types will need to stay on top or behind the tanks, and these won't look as good as the submerged type, since they do require a bit more space, and a lot of them aren't the best at keeping water clean. The submersible type are more effective. Although you'll need to remove the biofilter media every week or so, at least once a week, twice a week, especially if you have a lot of fish, and take it out, open it up, spray it clean, and then about once a month you'll have to replace the filter media when it gets bad. Another option is also called the sponge filter. This is one of the most basic types and the cheapest of them all. Although when you buy one of these, it's just a spongy bit with a plastic frame, and you'll have to connect this with a tube that goes up and out of the tank, which can connect to a air pump like this, and it works kind of like this. The air pump stays outside. It's got a rubber stretchy tube that goes in, and then you can connect to one of these oxygen spraying balls, or you can use and connect one to the sponge filter. These will work, but most of them only provide oxygen more than cleaning. Although if you want just one, I recommend the submergible filter is the best option. It may be a bit expensive for some, but they are worth it. And nowadays many of them came with a tube that can stay outside the tank, and that will suck air in, so it will clean the water and provide oxygen. So 2 in 1. Those will work great. Next and last but not least, we have tips. I'll read each one, but feel free to pause and save and read this if you want. I'll read each one to you guys anyway. 1. Make sure the fish tank has a cover. This also includes tanks, especially without covers or lids. Even though your fish might not be a jumping type, or the water's very, very low, it won't, or you might think, no way, the fish can't jump out, it's too high. Either way, it's safer to have covers either way. Next, make sure the fish tank is big enough and not too small. Water changes. I also would like to mention water changes. You might think, well, what are water changes, you may ask? Water changes are regularly maintained ways of changing out the water. For example, when you have a fish tank, soon at one point you'll notice the water will start to get brownish or cloudiness and dirty. That means it's time to change out some of the water. It doesn't mean you have to drain the entire tank and take the fish out, no. For example, think of it as a tank is a square. You'll only need to clean any between 25 to 50% of the tank water only. You don't have to take out all the water. That will also cause a shock to the fish if you replace all of its water. So only take out some amounts, not all of the water, any between 25 to 50% only of the water amount. So you'll still keep most of the water inside the tank. And then just replace back some new water until it's full as it was before. Okay, next, do not, like I mentioned before, do not remove all the water when water changing. Next, always check on your fish for any sickness and diseases. Some fish do not show when they are sick, so you have to keep an eye on them a lot, especially swimming patterns, how they eat, how they swim, how they look. Always prepare dechlorinated water. This also mentions and talk about which type of water is best for fish. You see, if you use tap water for fish, the fish will die. You see, you can also use drinking water, but that may be a waste. So an easier option is to use tap water, but instead of dumping it all the way into the fish tank right away, you get some sort of second container, any you want, but presumably it should be bigger or similar size to the fish tank that you'll be using to hold the fish. And then fill that container with tap water or hose water or gardening hose water or whatever you want. Pour it in there and then let that sit for at least 1 day. And then when you're preparing a tank to get a fish, you'll scoop that water and then use that water in the tank. This water will become dechlorinated after you let it sit for about 1 day. And like I mentioned again, do not use tap water for fish. Next, always prepare if the power may go out. Especially in countries that the power goes out a lot, or a power outage happens, or a storm and the power goes out, you need to always have a plan. If you're gonna have perhaps getting a generator or some sort of battery powered water pump or oxygenator machine or anything, keep in mind that you need to have one, especially if the power goes out a lot in your area or country. Next, make sure you have used the right type of food, and then also do not feed your food. Do not feed your fish every time they beg you or ask you. Especially when you keep your fish for some time, they will learn to recognize their owner and who takes care of them, and they sometimes will follow you around and swim up and down and left and right happily. That's how they try to get your attention to feed them. You can do tiny, small amounts of feeding like in between the day, but regular feeding should be minimum, maybe only once or twice a day should be enough. Do not feed them every time you walk by the fish tank and like, oh, feed. That's gonna overfeed your fish, and a lot of fish don't know how to stop when they're full. They'll just keep eating until their stomach explodes. So do not overfeed your fish. Lastly, always keep an eye on your fish, especially when you have different species, and even same species, sometimes they fight and they become aggressive towards each other, so always keep in mind that. And that will be it for today's video. If you've been watching since the beginning till now, thank you so much for staying throughout the entire video, and stay tuned on the channel because I'll definitely make more future videos to come. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, and I'll see you next time in the next video. Peace out.